Welcome back to the Panic Meet Peace podcast, where we are learning how to overcome anxiety through faith. My name is Ashanti Aisha, and I am your wonderful host, if I do say so myself. If anybody else has an opinion, I don't know, but it's me, guys, and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you joined in. You are about to embark on a journey with me of transformation and moving from panic attacks to walking in peace every single day of your life. If you stay tuned every single week, we talk about the 4 pillars of peace. We talk about how to overcome our anxieties, our worries, our concerns. We step into faith and out of fear. And I'm just so glad you're here today. So welcome all of our returning listeners. Thank you so much for your support and your continued support of this show. I'm blessed to have you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So, today's episode, we are talking about boundaries. We are talking about boundaries that are needing to be set by us, for us. Now, these are not for other people. These are for us. Today, I want to give you 3 steps to identify where those boundaries need to be set for you and how to get started setting them. Okay, let's do it. Are you tired of struggling with anxiety? Do you find yourself constantly worrying, stressing, and overthinking everything in your life? Do you desire to be free in your own mind again? Welcome to the Panic Meet Peace podcast. I am your host, Ashanti, and I teach believers like you how to find peace over anxiety through faith. In this podcast, we discuss strategies for managing anxiety and stress using biblical teachings and faith-based techniques. My special guests and I share our personal experiences, advice, and perspectives to help you ditch the panic attacks and guide you from fear to faith. God has already promised you the peace that passes all understanding, and I am more than happy to introduce you to that peace through today's episode. Are you ready? Without further ado, Panic Meet Peace. All right, you guys, let's get started. So today's episode is really impactful for you in your faith, and it is about boundaries. Now, I'm saying boundaries, but I don't mean for other people. I don't mean it like the world means it, where they're like, set those boundaries for those people and they can't cross them, because that's not really true. That's a false thing. Setting boundaries for other people is being foolish, because other people don't have to respect your boundaries. Other people don't have to do whatever you want them to do, and other people are not going to protect your peace. This is up to you. So your boundaries that you're setting are for you. This is like setting up a guard to protect your gates, which are your eyes, your ears, and your heart. You want to make sure that you are protecting your mind. You are putting on the armor of God. You are protecting your peace. And in order for you to do that, you got to know what's causing anxiety, what's giving you stress, what's making you feel afraid or worried or keeping you up at night. And when you start to realize those things and identify those things, and you can better guard your heart and your mind and your ears and your eyes from them to help you establish that peace and grow stronger in your faith and your walk with God. One thing I want to point out, though, about these 3 steps is that this is not a quick fix, save all, end all, be all. This is a starting point. Think of this as like a seed. I'm giving you a seed for you to plant in your garden. You are the garden. Your life is the garden. And I'm giving you some seeds to plant in your soil. You won't see the growth right away. As soon as you put a seed in the soil, you don't actually see the growth immediately, but you do see it over time. And as it sprouts and as it grows and as you feed it and fertilize it and keep it healthy, it will produce fruit in your life. The art of transformation is setting seeds in your ground, in your soil, and allowing them to grow and spring forth. That's where you get the fruit from. That's how you harvest this. And I want you to see this transformation in your life. And in order to do that, my friend, you have to start somewhere. So let's start here today. Let's set some boundaries. Let's protect our peace. And let's grow. Let's get out of this fear and into faith. All right? So step number 1, start paying attention to what is giving you anxiety. Sharpen your awareness. Get for real. Put on your glasses, your spiritual glasses, and start noticing more when you get that, that twisted feeling that you get in your stomach when you start to feel anxiety creep up on you, or how your breathing gets more rapid, or how your head starts to feel like it's spinning. Those feelings, right? They're triggered by something. And so when you start to feel those things, pay attention to what is happening. What are you doing? Are you scrolling through social media? Are you watching a TV show that is violent or about murders and dark things? Are you listening to a conversation that is evoking stress and worry? Are you watching the news? What are you doing in that moment? And the good thing about this is that when you actually start to focus your attention on what's causing it, you're actually less likely to feel the results of those things that are giving you anxiety. You're actually likely to keep the panic attack away because you're paying attention to what is going on rather than how you feel. So start paying attention, be aware, be wise, and open your eyes to what's going on around you. I'm going to use myself as an example. Mine was the news. I read newsletters that I would get in my email, and I would also watch it on the TV. And I realized that every time I would watch the news, when it was over, I would start to feel that twisted feeling in my stomach, and my head would start to spin, and I would think, oh my God, I'm sick, I'm dying, something's going on, I need to go to the hospital. That wasn't the case. What was happening was I was taking on all this information and allowing it to beat me up from the inside out. And as a result, my body physically reacted and sent me into a panic every single time. So we're going into step number 2 because this is important. You have to make the decision to shut it down. This is not about people. We're going to get to people in the future. We're going to talk about how to handle people that cause you anxiety and things like that. We're going to get deep into that in another episode. So for now, we can't control them, but we can control us and what we're consuming every day. That's what I want you focused on. That's what I want you to shut down. You have the power to put your phone down. You have the power to turn the TV off. You have the power to walk out of the room. You have the power to walk out of the conversation. You have the power to do the things that you need to do to protect your peace. You cannot control other people, but you can control you. So shutting it down is like my news. I told myself that if I was informed about things, I would be less anxious about them, which is very silly. Because what I was actually doing was feeding anxiety. Subconsciously, I was feeding anxiety because I thought I have to know so I can be in control. And unfortunately, what I knew and what I was learning through the news was more stuff that I could not control, and it was giving me even more anxiety. So I had to shut it off cold turkey. And when I did that, I started to notice a change. I wasn't experiencing a panic attack every day. I wasn't spiraling and thinking about all the things I couldn't control as much. And here's the thing. By shutting it down or cutting it off of you, you are not running away cowardly. This is not ignorance. This is not making a fearful decision. This is making an executive decision about your peace. It's kind of like a king who has guards. A king does not have guards because he's a coward. A king has guards because he is protecting his kingdom. That's you, my friend. You are the king and queen of your kingdom, and you need to set up some guards to protect what's going on in your kingdom. Glory to God. So, cut it off, shut it down, turn it away, quit cold turkey. And then step number 3, because you're like, okay, what do I do in place? Because I watch TV a lot, or I'm on my phone a lot, and I do a lot of things through my phone. How do I do this? All right. Step number 3 is replace them with things that give you peace. This takes a little bit more of that awareness that we talked about in step 1, because you need to be knowing and paying attention to what is actually good for you. What are you consuming that makes you feel good? What are you consuming that is actually good? Not pleasurable to your flesh, but good for your soul and your spirit and your mind. Remember, you are a garden. So what we're doing is uprooting weeds out of our garden and replanting good seeds that will bring forth good fruit in our lives. So for example, in place of the news for me, I cut it off and I would just make myself a little cup of coffee and I would go and enjoy the outdoors. I would just take a brisk walk. I would go and I would sit under a tree. I enjoy being outside. I enjoy nature and connecting to it and being outside and just seeing the beauty of God's glory in everything. And so in place of reading the news for 10 minutes and then sending myself into a downward spiral for the rest of the day, I would get up from my computer or I would turn the TV off and I would get something that I enjoyed, tea, coffee, water, and I would go for a walk. Sometimes I didn't even have to have the coffee or the tea. I would just go for a walk until I knew the time passed for the news to go off or whatever. And then I'd go back and I would go back to work or I would go and start my chores for the day or something like that. But I was planting that seed of peace in place of it so that my mind would start getting used to being in a place of stability. We're going from panic to peace here in this podcast. And so we want to train our minds to go against the grain and stop going in that same cycle and that pattern of fear and worry and stress and shift it to a steady, stable, quiet place. Now, one more tip for you. This isn't a step or anything, but this is just a little tip. Trust the process. Like I said before in the introduction, this is not an overnight pill. You don't wake up and it's all gone and over and you don't have to worry about it. This is one of those steps that you take that is going to produce fruit for you later. And as you clear the clutter in your mind, you will start to see and feel the transformation in your life. It's not overnight, but as you continue on and you're consistent with it, which is key, consistency is the key. When you're consistent with it, you will start to see and feel that transformation in your life. And just a little bit of a future glimpse for you of your future self. Right now, I resubscribe to newsletters and I don't watch the news because when I watch the news, I can't decide what I want to see. So instead, I subscribe to newsletters so that I can see the headlines and decide which one is important to me and read that. But that's the beauty of these guards, is that they teach you a discipline to help you maintain your peace so that if you hear the news, it doesn't trigger you anymore. Even if I do watch the news, I'm not triggered by it anymore because I already established that guard within me and I grew my faith to the point where things outside just don't get inside anymore. This is where you're headed. This is the transformation that you desire, which is why you showed up to this podcast today. And this is the one that I believe God has designed for you. So you want to just trust the process, stay consistent, stick to it. God is in control and we are learning how to put our faith back in Him so that we can access that peace that passes all understanding. To close out today, I want to give you 2 scriptures that are really impactful for what we're learning. The first one is 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. This is so key. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 10 through 11. For the one who wants to enjoy life and see good days must keep his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking guile. He must turn away from wickedness and do what is right. He must search for peace and pursue it eagerly. Listen to that again. For the one who wants to enjoy life. Do you want to enjoy your life? I know I do. Do you want to see good days? Absolutely. I want every day to be a good day. Then this is the thing. You've got to guard your tongue. You've got to guard your mind. Turn away from the things that are causing this wickedness, this anxiety within you, and search for peace. So maybe you're like, Ashanti, I don't really know what I enjoy. I don't really know what I like or what gives me peace. Now's your opportunity to seek that. And listen to this verse again. He must search for peace and pursue it eagerly. If you don't know where to start, my friend, start with God. God is peace. He is love. He is joy. He is life. And when you seek Him, those are the things that you will find. The second scripture is one of my all-time favorites, which is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 7. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart Don't lean on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, which is God, and He will direct your paths. Thank you for joining me today. I pray that this episode was enlightening for you and brought you peace and comfort, and that you're strengthened in your decision making, in your walk with God, and that you find the peace that you are seeking God for today. I pray that every word that was spoken today was helpful and is useful for you. And I pray that you leave me a review and let me know how this episode helped you. Send me an email. Join my email community, guys. I'm so excited about what God is doing in the new year, and I want you to be a part of it. So please join my email community, share this with a friend, and I'll see you again next week on the podcast.